So thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. This is a first for the channel. We have a casting director with us who is the amazing Liyanne Marie, who's really leading the way in the UK as the main British casting agent for verticals, and has very kindly joined me so we can talk all about her job and tips for getting cast in a vertical. So I'm going to ask Liyanne to do a little introduction of herself to you, the internet.
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm Liyanne Marie. I'm a UK London-based casting director. And yeah, I have been navigating this whole lovely world of vertical dramas and casting some exceptional talent and meeting lots of people. I'm just excited to see, where we go and giving a lot more actors out there some more opportunities to be part of these productions.
So the obvious question is we know the jobs that you write down at school when you're in primary school. If I want to be a nurse, I want to be a teacher. How do you become a casting director?
Do you know, it's such a good question, Jen, because I didn't know what a casting director was many, many years ago. So I've always kind of been in the industry as such, the entertainment industry, professional industry, in the sense of I was a professional dancer for a long time. I did study at Performing Arts College. I thought I may go down the acting or dancing or, West End kind of route. And sadly, I trained so hard for that, but when I turned about 20, I got quite ill, so I was put in a wheelchair for 2 years, which really changed my kind of career path. And I kind of just fell into like working and, had children and just fell into that kind of world. But there was always something pulling me towards the creative industry. And I'd always naturally been a person that always scouted talent, but unbeknown to doing it. So, people would ask me in the industry, do you know like a model or an actor or a dancer that could be part of this? And I just had the network, and I just had an eye for talent. Or if I went and watched a show, I would, write some names down of talent that I thought would be really good. And many years ago, about 7 years ago now, I think I wanted to maybe start a talent agency because I thought that was my calling. But a good friend of mine suggested that I become a casting director because she just felt that I'm so good with people and, knew a lot of network of talent. And I started beginning shadowing and working as a casting assistant for casting directors, a lot more commercial kind of TV film side of things. And then started my own kind of business in it a few years back, and has just been kind of just progressing and navigating it myself. And I just love casting. I'm passionate about it. I love meeting different people. I love seeing people come alive in casting rooms or self-tapes or, So I just really enjoy doing casting now. So, yeah.
That's amazing. So once you're working, what were, I guess, since about like 2020 COVID, like what are the main things? Where is the work if you're a UK actor or actress?
It's
Where is it?
really difficult. I mean, COVID obviously, knocked us all back, didn't it? A lot, even for myself, it was really, really difficult times. And I think the industry is still not back to where it probably was many years ago. I think even though we're climbing the mountain slowly, I still think there is still a lack of work across the board in sense of for actors, even for us as casting directors, crews and stuff. I don't think there's as much going on, but it is getting better. So then entering this world of casting in vertical dramas has just been wonderful for me because it's a new world in itself, and it's beautiful to navigate and understand. And I think the fans of the vertical drama world are just incredible. The actors that want to be part of it, are just maybe actors that I wouldn't have come across or met in some of the other jobs that I cast for.
So, what was the first vertical that you involved in casting, and sort of how did it come about?
Yeah, so I work a lot with On-Set Octopus Production. So Ben, who's the producer, and we'd worked on a feature film together. And we had just always kept in contact as a network. Like casting directors are sometimes not attached to smaller budget projects because they don't have the budget to bring in like a casting director. And also some people don't feel the need to have a casting director attached. I kind of never agree with that, because I do really feel you need somebody that can really just maintain the cast, get involved in, the casting process, reach out to their we have such a big pool of network of, talent agencies, cast, people that we meet on the street. We do street casting. There's so much to us that maybe like a producer or production can't filter that in. So Ben contacted me. I don't know when we did that. Was that maybe 2 years ago, or over a year ago? And we did the Mafia's Obsession, which was the first vertical that I kind of became involved in. I just kind of dealt with like the leads at first. I didn't really get too involved in some of the other secondary roles and extras and things like that. That was managed by production, but it was kind of clear that by having casting on board, it really took the pressure off on some of the other side of the production, because I can just really focus on the actor side of things. Because there's still a process to it. Actors have to self-tape, or sometimes we do have them in the room to do like a chemistry read with another actor to see how they kind of get, chemistry together. So that was that. And then I think maybe 7 or 6 verticals in this year. So it's then just continued to be an ongoing working relationship, and then I kind of work very closely with them now, and I am their kind of in-house casting director for all the productions that they are part of. So it's just been really, really good to be a part of that, and then bring my casting director skills into this whole new world of vertical dramas.
So having cast lots before, what are the differences have you found of how you cast for vertical drama as opposed to, say, more mainstream or commercial work?
Yeah, it is very different, and it's normally to do with what a lot of the client wants, which is quite similar in the commercial world as well, because a lot of the time it's, the client, if we're working with particular brands or something, the client are very particular about, what faces they want in the commercial. And I think there's a little element of that that's coming across in the verticals. It's really, what the actors look, or their presence on screen, and stuff like that. So that's quite important. I think when I first did my first one, I was really hot on what the acting skills were. But then as the more I've done, it's kind of not just the priority is the acting. There's some other factors to think of. And I think what was challenging at first, I think when I did my first few, is that they had quite a bad reputation here in the UK. So I found it quite difficult at first to navigate the actors that want to be part of it. I'm connected with a lot of the agents here in the UK, and a lot of them, didn't want to put the actors forward. So I thought, oh, this is going to be a bit more of a challenge. Like, I thought it would be quite easy. Like, this is work for people. But as it's kind of evolving, and I think people are understanding a little bit more in the UK, I've found a huge pool of actors here that are keen to be part of these verticals and be seen for them. A lot of the times I think it's just the fast-paced learning of scripts that I think is what when I put a self-tape out, you get a few sides of the script. But when you're on set, the main thing is that you are doing quite a lot of pages, because it's episode after episode, isn't it? So it's a really fast-paced kind of production, which some actors may not be used to. So it's kind of me, making sure when I watch their tapes and stuff, like, how did they pick up that side of the script? How did they deliver it? Would they be okay with like change of direction, or if they wanted it more, more Hollywood, more exaggerated, or something like that. So it's me really, like, I watch tapes quite clearly and in detail to see how an actor delivers the tape for the first round.
So you obviously see a lot of tapes. Just for anyone watching, what are big yeses and what are big no-nos?
Yeah. So it's vertical, isn't it? So a lot of actors that don't know about this world, we are so used to asking for tapes in a horizontal format, which I now make really clear. Could you film it for me vertically? Because it's very important for us to see how you look on screen in a vertical kind of angle, different angles, like sometimes I ask for their profiles, so they might turn to the side, just so we can look at all the features, how you would come across on screen. So that's really important. So those tapes that people don't do that sometimes is a bit like, no, please, like film it vertically, film it quite close up as well. Please don't be really far away from the camera, way behind, or there's lots going on in the background. So it's really distracting for me to watch, or the client. So keep it really clean and simple. And just, a lot of the time, some of it is you do some overacting in some of the scenes. So I want to be able to see that. I want to see how you'll deliver that. Maybe also don't talk too much in the beginning, because I like to do an intro for actors, like just to see their personality. But try not to make that like a 10-minute talk, because I want to kind of get to the scene. So I would say a no is like, just keep it short and sweet. Tell me a little bit about you in a quick buzz, so I can see who you are, and then get to the scene. Good lighting, good sound. These things are really important for me as well. And just making sure, you've really read some of the character briefs, so that you are, when I'm asking you to do the sides, you are delivering like a role that I'm asking you to do. You're not kind of, created your own that is nothing to do with like the character brief.
That makes sense. A lot of it is actually, have you actually read what I've sent you to do and fulfilled the brief?
Yeah.
Obviously, I would say I think the UK is rated pretty highly for acting schools, acting training.
Yeah.
How much of an adjustment is it for particularly British actors and actresses who've essentially come from that to go to something like Verticals, where it is a bit cheesier, it is a bit soapier, it is exaggerated? I could see that potentially could be quite a challenge.
Yeah, I think this is where we normally pull out the ones that we think can do it and cannot. And I don't think, verticals are not going to be for everybody, and as actors, if you've trained, in so many different kind of ways, and you want to be on theatre stages, or you want to be in a massive, I don't know, Hollywood movie or something. But the verticals for me are still they're stepping stones as well. I think they're still good things for an actor to be part of, because you can learn, as I said, like you're learning script, you're retaining script so quickly, you're working on a set that's such fast pace, that's quite a bonus. Like, you're not having to do it over months and months. We usually shoot within like 7 to 10 days to do all of the episodes. So I think for some actors, there's still an understanding of it here in the UK, because I think, as you say, for some actors that have trained for years and years, they then may feel that their skill set is not then being used in something like a vertical, because it is a bit cheesy, or it isn't, what they want to be a part of. But hopefully with like how we're working and what we're bringing to productions, and we're really trying to kind of, I think, just improve some of the narratives in it as well, and just improve some of the quality of it, then it will encourage more actors, no matter what your path's been, to get involved as well, because I think it's a good amount of work for actors.
So can I talk about one particular vertical which you cast, which was the version of Pride and Prejudice?
Yes. Yeah.
So you might be aware, I did an interview with, I'm going to call them by character names because it made me happy, Jane and Mr. Bingley and Lizzie and Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I did go around the house, I'm talking to Mr. Darcy, Mr. Bingley.
I love it. Love it.
What you want about? And it was quite interesting because obviously Conan was talking about, he had like a Mr. Darcy off with other Mr. Darcys, and then obviously this is very much a chemistry thing, so they were all having chemistry reads with each other. Would you be able to talk just a bit about that process, how you found them all, why you were like, you were what we need for this role?
Yeah, I mean, that was such a great job to cast. Like, honestly, all the cast that were in that, I'm just so proud of them, because that was also quite, some of these verticals could be quite quick turnarounds for us. Like, we can get the tapes in, the client's happy. I do, if there's like some really intense, like, which there normally is, romantic scenes and things like that, I do encourage at the moment to do a chemistry read, especially with the leads, because I think it's really important for us to see actors come together, because there's nothing worse if you get on set and there's just like real uncomfortableness, or it just doesn't work or there's just no chemistry, it will just be so evident on screen. So we had a few of the actors that we had shortlisted for that chemistry read, and it was, you know, a few hours of intense, like, you know, script reading, pairing them up with different, you know, different pairs, seeing how they kind of work together, filming them really close up as well to see how they came across on screen. And in the end, I think it just comes down to who really worked better and looked more authentic together, you know, and how they kind of delivered the lines and was able to kind of present on screen. I mean, but there was some great, like, you know, it was really close with some of the actresses as well, because they were just doing such a good job. So it just then came down to, like, you know, who eyeline, you know, who the height as well. We've got to think about things like that, you know, when they're looking into each other's eyes, you know, the height difference and things like that. So I think, you know, for Conan and Jasmine, who were the two leads, they just really worked very, very well together. But obviously, like our Jane, who is Coco, she's like brilliant actress. And so, yeah, there's just a little bit of a long process with that, in that we want to get it right for the screen as well. So I always try and encourage a little bit of a chemistry read for the actors. So it gets them a bit more comfortable as well before they go on set.
And obviously it really worked because everyone absolutely smashes their role. So it shows why we should always get someone like yourself involved, because that's what happens. You have a superb cast. How long are you involved with a project? Like, when you move on, it's like, you know, because once they start filming, like, do you get to see that, or are you like, I'm already on to my next project that I'm casting?
I mean, Bless, do you know what? I'm quite lucky in the sense of, you know, a lot of productions that I do work on, Jen, they do invite me down to set. So it just depends if I'm working on something else. Like the last one that we did, they invited me down to set, but I was on another job, so I just couldn't go down there. But to be fair, once we confirm the cast and client is happy, you know, the director's happy, the production's happy with who's locked in, and we've done you know, we've got them confirmed, the cast have agreed to everything, that's kind of my role over. And unless there's something that comes up as like an issue with an actress or an actor, then I would get involved. But once the casting's done, I'm on to the next job. So I don't really have to kind of get involved. But I think there might be more opportunity, I think, for me to go along to set, because I do tend to like to go along to set, because I like to see people how they work on set as well, because sadly for casting directors we just see them on tapes or in a casting room and then that's it. But over my career, I've been invited to quite a lot of the production sets, and then I can see how people work. I can see their attitudes on set. I can see how are they respectful to other cast members, are they respectful to the crew and the production, or, you know, that those things are really important for me to consider you again for other jobs. So yeah, I like to kind of hopefully maybe attend some more of these productions. Yeah,
I feel we need a cameo as well.
yeah. Could you imagine? I mean, I don't know if I could deliver a really good little cameo role, but I might be able to.
I'd love
You
to
could
ask
get a
you.
cameo, Jen.
Well,
We
they
need to
keep
get
asking me, and I'm like, you really don't
we
need me
need,
on screen. No
we
one
do. We
needs
need
that.
to get you in there somehow, definitely.
I just wanted to ask you, because obviously you mentioned you have a dance background and you've been involved with that. Do you think we could get dance in verticals? Because it would seem to me you
I
could marry the
mean,
two. It'd be amazing.
I mean, like that would be absolutely great. I think, you know, definitely, because some of the dance movies, like, you know, over the years and that they've done so well. So I don't see why not. I just think we need the right scripts for it. That could definitely work, I think. Yeah.
Because obviously, I mean, I've watched everything. You know, every Step Up, everything.
Yeah, talking my language, Jen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like,
I mean, could you imagine us
amazing.
putting a version of that onto a vertical? I mean, brilliant. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to do that and wants me to cast it, like reach out to me. Like, I'm ready. I have the network of dancers as well.
Because the other thing as well is, obviously, I know one of the things that they're partly, you know, the clients and the apps are looking for is, you know, they need the material that they can use in the marketing to go viral as
Yeah.
you know, on TikTok. And it's like, well, TikTok, dance.
I
That's
mean,
kind of,
exactly. You know, TikTok. dance has just like evolved rapidly on TikTok. You've got people that never even probably danced before that now dance and create all these TikTok, videos and stuff. And I think, dance is something that, I don't know, it brings everyone together, doesn't it? It just makes everyone happy as well. So you could definitely do a version of that, like with a good storyline involved.
Yeah, I was always telling my husband, I always watch movies with the life affirming power of dance.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always like she's had a horrible time, but she does dance and everything's
She just
perfect. She falls
dances
against
her
someone
way
really
through.
beautiful.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
great.
and it's always a love story in there as well, somewhat somehow, isn't there? Like she dances against the opposite crew or whatever is
Oh
going
yeah,
on.
oh yeah. And you see, that feels so vertical coded because if
Yeah.
you like the rival families, why would there not be a dance off? I feel
Well, it's funny when I was growing up. I don't know if you remember the film Honey. I don't know if you remember that.
of course I've
My
watched Honey
mum, that
multiple
was what I
times.
was kind of called in my family. It was like honey, like you just like that's you, Leanne. Like, and then I had all these visions. And I opened a dance school like for 3 years, and I did those kind of things. And then you get the insight into the industry and the music video world. So yeah, there's definitely potential, I think, for some fab content for this.
It was really interesting. I was in London yesterday, so walking through Trafalgar Square, and I could
Oh,
see um, a couple who basically they had the phone propped up against the National Gallery wall and were obviously doing TikToks and just doing dance with that kind of background. And something you'd mentioned is street casting.
yes.
How does that work? And what makes you go, I need to talk to that person? What are you looking for?
I mean, do you know what? Street casting can happen any time. So actors, anyone out there, we're always looking. And sometimes for casting directors or casting companies, they actually have like actual street casters. So that is their job. They'll be out and about looking. So if there's a particular brief that we're working on, so for example, now I'm casting for this new vertical. It's going to be filmed in Italy or something, but I could be out and about and I could see a really, an Italian, female that I just think, oh, she looks right, or an Italian guy, and I just literally will go up and approach and just ask, would you be interested? Here's my details. Some people are very interested, some people are not, but it can change somebody's life actually if you're part of something. And you just approach street casting is just very like out there. If we approach you, it's because we think you're right for something and we want to kind of consider you for a role. But it is just, as it says on the tin, it's street casting. We are just on the street, we might see you and we might approach you and ask you to kind of send us a tape or an email.
So for anyone who's watching this is thinking I'd like to get into verticals, what should they do? Like, should they contact you or would you prefer them not
Yeah.
to?
No. Do you know what it is with me? I'm a really approachable casting director, and I do like to kind of help and support. So I'm really open with people emailing me. They can email me there. I would say keep it short and sweet because I'm going to be honest, I don't have time to read like lengthy essays of what you've done over the past, how many years, but a nice headshot for me, an intro of like your name, location, maybe a couple of things that you've done or what you're interested in, and I will keep that in mind for stuff. And I'm always kind of will reach out to talent that maybe I've had in my kind of database, but I use like I usually will send like a form as well so that it's protected by GDPR, so that I can contact people as and when roles come up. Also keep an eye on social media. I tend to post the vertical stuff on social media as well. I do use a platform here in the UK, Spotlight as well, but I tend to post on social media. So look out for the post, contact me, drop me an email, and just, let me know who you are. And then I can think of you for future ones.
And obviously, you're a bit of a superstar because you were on ITV News. Obviously, no, it weren't in the main bit, but obviously in the full extended thing, you were brilliant.
Yeah,
You were such a
yeah.
good advocate. Um, just generally with the UK, where do you think things are going with it, and kind of what would you say to people about the vertical industry going forward? What are your hopes as well? What would you like to see happen?
Do you know what my hope is? I think that for us here in the UK, if you haven't been watching these, I mean, Jen, you will know because you are a fan, you've watched so many, but I think for a lot of people in the UK, they haven't watched some of this. They don't know some of the apps. So this is all quite new, but it's not new as well, because we tend to be on our phones a lot. We are constantly scrolling. We are kind of, looking at things that are standing out for us, and those, quick things on TikTok or whatever, Instagram, whatever it may be. So I think that there's a real good potential here. And I think it will probably change slightly as well, maybe if more UK writers come involved, or the different scripts, different stories, still keeping what a vertical drama is about. I think it's important that some of those factors stay in, but I think it may be just some of the narrative stories and things that might be a bit more relatable to some audiences here. And I think if that happens, then the potential here is huge as well, because it's like, if you think about something that we all love here, or watch a series or something, and you put that on a vertical format, then it's going to get the engagement and the audience. So I just think there's still bits that we're understanding and learning here. And I know some of the agents that I deal with, they're a little bit, and the fees maybe are not as what they should be for actors, but that can only get better if, more opportunities are given, and production value is kind of elevated a little bit as well, and the quality of it as well for us, because I think that might just be the slight difference between us here. But yeah, and ITV, it was great to be part of that. But I think also for me, I think because I can't talk for all of them, but I'm not too sure how many casting directors have been a part of these. I know I was the first UK casting director to be a part. I think there's other casting directors that are getting involved now and being asked to do them. But it's important that you do have casting directors, I think, attached to some of these, because there's even, just protecting the actors as well, and making sure that there's good procedures and policies in place on some of the productions, and having a casting director, you can kind of feel a bit more comfortable and safe knowing that is happening, because we would have gone through all of that with production first, to make sure things are, actors are not working like hours that they shouldn't be working, and stuff like that.
That's so helpful. I just want to finish off by, this is like, you don't have to choose vertical people, but just for you, like, who on screen are you like, wow, they're total stars, I really rate them?
Oh, that's really interesting. I mean, I don't know. There's an actor that I'm in talks with now, which I hadn't come across him before. Andre, do you know Andre?
Andre Prunella?
And I love him. I came across him and I was like, he's fabulous. But I'm also going to root, obviously, as well, for some of the UK talent that are coming up. So my Conan Aaron, I've got to put him in there. I wish him so much success. And the wonderful, Jasmine Keane and Coco Taylor and Thomas. So I think some of the, but I can't. There's a couple of them actually. Tristan Alexander that was in Mafia's Lovers as well. And I think some of those actors that have played some of those roles that are quite, they're quite intense. They're quite some quite intense roles. I think that they've got good potential. But I suppose for me, I'm always looking at who the next star is. But anyone that I'm casting, I'm going to see them as the star, because I'm like, no, I'm casting you because you are good enough to be in these things. But I think, Jen, you will probably know all the amazing stars better than me. I am still researching, and trust me, I'm still like navigating and watching all of these fabulous stars that have been in this world for quite a few years.
That's just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
I just want to say thank you so much for your time, because I think, as we've both agreed, the really exciting thing about verticals is it's potentially going to give so many actors, actresses in the surrounding industry work, particularly in the UK, that's not there. And in particular, you were amazing, because you're going to give so many people opportunities, and that's such a wonderful thing. I guess that's my final question, as well as saying thank you. What's the most fulfilling bit for you? What's the bit where you're like, this is why I do my job?
Do you know what? I think for me, because I see so many people, don't I? But actually confirming the talent for the job, I get really happy with that, because and then seeing the final edit and production, I'm like, yes, because I know what they went through. Everybody always sees the glamour bit, don't they? Just the final edit production, but prior to that, the work that the actors have put in, or the self tapes, the amount of self tapes that they might have done before they even got a role, and this industry is full of no's. Like, it really is. So when I get to say yes and that you're confirmed, that's really fulfilling for me. But anyone that I've said no to, what I will say and give advice to actors that are getting no's is it just might not be the right role yet. So don't give up. You know, keep taping, keep training, keep, you know, watching things on screen to know, you know, what's inspiring you. Because we're always, there's going to be always new opportunities, isn't there? So that would be my advice as well. So don't give up.
This is such an early question. Like, how do you tell people they've got a role? Is it like, do you ring them? Do you email them?
No, so it's usually done quite formal. Like, so me personally, I usually do quite a good lengthy email which details, you know, and I always give them like a good news, you know, you kind of got the role, detail like the shoot dates, the wardrobe dates, you know, the fees and stuff like that. Just give a full lengthy, and then we kind of then get some kind of casting advice notice and contracts and stuff drawn up for them, and then the ball rolls, and then I hand them over to production company who then look after them.
I just think that's amazing. I'm going back to a really old Christian Slater movie called Bed of Roses.
Oh yeah.
He was a florist. He decided he wanted to deliver flowers because he was like, what job should I do?
Yeah.
Getting to give someone flowers and seeing their happiness or even like comfort in a moment of grief was like,
Yeah.
this is a really rewarding job. And I just think that must be wonderful that at the end of these processes, you got to
It
go,
is.
you've got this job.
Yeah. It is really fulfilling, but I think even the whole process of it kind of fulfills me, Jen, as well. Like, knowing if I put a call out and people respond, like that's even fulfilling as well, because I could put a call out and I could not hear from anybody, but I get so many emails which I'm like, there is people out there are actors that want jobs, which is really great. So even just receiving the emails and the application, the submissions coming in, that fulfills me as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, there's people out here wanting work, you know, and if I can give them opportunities to get work, that actually fulfills me as well.
Well, I think you're a total superstar. So just thank you
Oh,
so much for your time.
thank you. So are you. You are a superstar. We're inspired by you, definitely.